Hello everyone and welcome to some Mr. FPGA news. This week we will be talking about updates to the NARC core, spinner support for some of Jotego's cores, the Neo Geo Pocket core, and much more. So let's get to it. Core developer Pramod has completed verification on most of the NARC core and started synthesizing the core to see some real output. He was able to get the core to boot and also posted video output of the high score table. One of the tweets he posted mentioned that he verified the display output with a save state from MAME and inputting the save state's memory into his test bench. It also seems that the high score table of the game is a pretty good test screen because it includes non-DMA and DMA pixels. All these tests that he's currently implemented tell him that he only has a little bit to go until a fully working core is ready for playtesting. But he first needs to verify DMA processing and also the graphics instructions. Spinner support was added to Jotego's Midnight Resistance and Heavy Barrel cores. These are run and gun shoot 'em up games that let you change the direction of where you shoot using a rotary joystick. Ultimate Mister sells a spinner that Jotego was using for testing. And if you're a tinkerer, you can also build your own. Check out the article on RetroRGB.com by Smoke Monster for the details. I'm actually not sure how well these games will work with a dedicated spinner. They used a rotary joystick that allow you to move your character and change your aim direction using one hand. Using a dedicated spinner means that you will have to move your hand away from the joystick to change the direction of your aim. Other games that are due to get spinner support are Block and Pokanian. On Patreon, Jotego discusses the difficulties in getting spinner support for these games, because how each game handles the spinner differently. To get the exact details, check out the Patreon post. Developer Jimmy Stones has released a core for the BBC Bridge Companion. This was a console released in 1984 and was dedicated to just teaching the bridge card game. All the titles for the consoles are included in the core, and you can switch between them by bringing up the Mr. menu. Jotego also gave an update regarding schematic extractions. For CPS3, all the schematics are now available to download from Jotego's GitHub. The next step for CPS3 is to start working on the custom chips. Jotego's team has also started working on a Konami CPU that's used on games like Simpsons and Aliens. The PlayStation core has had another bug fixed. This one is CD related, and now that it's fixed, the Japanese game Love and Destroy works. Track 17 has started work on the Z180 CPU, thanks to work previously done by Pramod. The Z180 was the successor to the Z80 processor that's used on many arcade games, computers, and consoles. It offered higher performance and backwards compatibility. So what does this have to do with Mr.? Well, the Z180 is used on the Toaplan 2 hardware, and a Track 17 already has something booting for Mr. that runs on this hardware. Specific games that were mentioned that run on this hardware are Tekkii-Paki, a puzzle arcade game, and Gox, a game that plays just like Arkanoid but has a lot more variety. The chip was also used by Fireshark and Vimana on Toaplan 1 hardware as well. RetroFrog has released the 3D files for their consoleized Mr. FPGA case to Patreon subscribers. One of the unique features of the case is a spot to slide in a hard disk. It also provides extra USB ports and a power switch to easily turn on and off your Mr. setup. Jotego figured out an issue with the Midnight Resistance core running slowly. It turns out the CPU runs at 12 MHz instead of the 10 MHz that other games with similar hardware used. The public files will get an update along with some added fixes to the game. Jimmy Stones released an update to the Centipede core that adds a 400% speed option to the trackball emulation. This option helps users with extremely slow devices. More bad news regarding the DE10 Nano pricing. Antonio Villena, a vendor of Mr. products, has confirmed that the price of the DE10 Nano will increase by €10 in March. BefMod, the creator of the Mini ITX Ironclad Plus I/O board for Mr., has released the Hi-Fi Blaster add-on board for the Ironclad Plus. This add-on replaces the DAC on the DE10 Nano with a better one, which should give you richer, improved, and stronger sound on all audio outputs. It also enables the HD audio header on the Ironclad Plus to provide amplified stereo headphones output. Right now, the Hi-Fi Blaster is only available as an add-on for new orders of the Ironclad Plus, but it will be soon available as a separate purchase for current owners. The price of the Hi-Fi Blaster is 30 euros. Robert Pipe, the developer of the PlayStation and Game Boy Advance cores, along with a lot of other work, is now working on a new core for Myster. Right now, he just started developing the software emulator for it. For all his cores, he always starts developing a software emulator that will be one-to-one compatible with a future core. It is easier for him to prototype the system using this method. The new system he's emulating hasn't been revealed yet. You can visit his Patreon to read what the emulator can do so far and the significance of the software emulator. Again, the new system that he's working on has not been revealed yet. There have been new cores released by Hotego to the public. These cores are part of the JT Karnov core. The games are Karnov, Chelnov, and Wonder Planet. The process Hotego uses to release cores is by first developing betas that are only available to his Patreon subscribers. As soon as those betas are stable enough for public release, they are released for free to the public and available to download from the Update All script. Hotego also released test cores that have spinner support for Forgotten Worlds, Puzzloop, and Eco Fighters. Hotego has also mentioned on his Patreon that all the basic files for a Haunted Castle arcade core are in place. All that's needed is the CPU to be ready, which they already are working on. Haunted Castle is an original Castlevania game made specifically for arcades. Hotego has also mentioned that the Neo Geo Pocket core has been very close to completion for many months, so work on it has resumed to give it the final push it needs. Anton Gale has continued extracting schematics for the Tidal System SJ arcade board, which Elevator Action runs on. In this Twitter post, it shows just over half of the video board complete. Drawing these schematics helps with building an understanding of the hardware's architecture and gives a head start when implementing the core. Another Twitter post showed another portion of the video board was also done. Anton Gale believes that there are mistakes in the original schematics and is going to use a real PCV to see if these suspicions are correct. And other cores getting miscellaneous fixes and updates are: for Mr. Main, there were changes done by Paul Bianel that helped the Neo Geo core. HDR options were also reworked. It is recommended to use HDR equals 1 as the most reliable. This change was thanks to Sam Hardman. For the Neo Geo core, there were audio fixes done by Paul Bianel. For the ZX Next core, some changes were reverted to fix basic save functions, and the framework was updated. That's it for other updates. Please try to support Sorge, the maintainer of the Myster project, and other Myster developers and contributors on support platforms such as Patreon and Ko-fi. Their hard work allows us to enjoy this amazing project. So that's it for this week's episode. I provided links to all my sources in the description. Make sure you also check out RetroRGB.com to see my Myster News videos in blog form and to get more retro-related content. And if possible, support them on Patreon too. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. And if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and its bell icon so you can get notified of future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.